Welcome to the Just Drive podcast.
What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Just Drive podcast, episode 9. It would be 10, but I wasn't on last week. My entire household decided to get sick. So we're here this week back. I want to talk about Dynos a bit. Um, you know, it was definitely a crazy it's been a crazy week. It's been a crazy couple weeks. Um, Let me know what's going on, guys. Let me know what you are driving. What do you want to drive? What do you want to build? Let me know what's going on, and we'll get to talking about some dyno stuff. I may possibly be joined by Tyler later in the episode. He is, I think he just had to run out and get some gas. He was talking about, and then I think he'll be back. But what is going on? What's up, Tyler Hawker? What's up, dude? How's the old Colorado doing? Anything new done to the Colorado? Yeah, get Jason in here. Where's Jason at? Let's go. Ooh, are they secret things or can we know, dude? I'm excited to know. I got a little bit different of a setup. So I started doing some game streaming, some sim racing over on the old TikTok. So if you guys are interested in watching some streaming, definitely go follow me on the old TikTok and check it out. Um, it's pretty fun. It's super laid back. I don't. I mean, I think my podcast is pretty laid back, but the streaming, the gaming streaming is even more laid back. It's like super chill. I just like to go on there and talk crap to dudes and drive fast cars. I don't know if you can hear, but I was definitely sick. Yeah, dude, you got to do that maintenance. Maintenance is important. What's your next race coming up? You got is that are you doing was that pit race? I think I think we had talked about this. I think you were you said you weren't going to pit, right? If I remember correct. Some hush hush stuff. I like that. What's up, Vanessa? How's it going? Oh man. Yeah, dude. I that is sick. It it is a it's a sim rig. This is so I was just saying I'm doing some video game streaming. I'm doing some sim racing streaming on over on TikTok, which I'm gonna go live right after the podcast. I'm gonna go live over on TikTok and uh do some sim racing streaming after this. So if you guys are interested in watching that, definitely could use the likes for sure and the follows. Dude, nice. And local event. How are your local events? Are they pretty competitive? They I feel like we need some more local events around here. There's really like almost nothing as far as autocross goes over here in the Tampa area. We just got Leadfoot City, and I know they were talking about possibly doing some autocross. I think they did one event. I don't know what the success looked like for it, um, but I do hope they continue to do more and have it grow. And I hope that would possibly light the fire under some other people because dude, autocross is definitely a good way to get people into motorsports, to drive into driving motorsports because it's just so it's beginner friendly. Um, I mean, there's some, you meet some really cool people in autocross. A lot of it's super laid back and very beginner friendly. But yeah, I chose a little bit of a topic tonight. I'm not gonna, beat on it, but I chose a little bit of a topic tonight because I'm in my last class of technician school um, before I start the Ford program. And the class I'm in is Power and Performance 3, and it is focused on tuning, which out of I think any of the other classes that I've had while I've been at the school, this is definitely I'm in the first week still. Today was day 3 of the class, and already it's like super interesting. Um, it also helps that I have an instructor that delivers the information really well too. Um, but we've been talking the past 3 days basically about fuel air ratios. Um, and then basically what we do is we go in the classroom, talk about what we're going to do. We go out to the dyno. We do 3 pulls on the dyno, and then we come back to the classroom and go over the information we got from the dyno and do our lab paperwork, and then change up some things in the tune, go back out to the dyno, throw the tune on the car, do 3 more pulls, and then come back and do it all over again, rinse and repeat. So it's pretty cool to see how things change. Right now, we're using a 4.6 um, Mustang, and there's it's not obviously super high horsepower, but you do see how the horsepower fluctuates depending on the tune that you put on it. So it's pretty cool to see. Um, I know what if Tyler gets on here, he has a lot more experience in tuning than I do, and he's pretty knowledgeable and can go a little bit more in depth than that. I don't know if you guys can hear. Man, my sinuses are still all jacked up. Yeah, autocross, depending on where you're at, it's not very spectator friendly. NOLA, I would say, was pretty spectator friendly. But like where we were at for Sebring, it's kind of hard to watch because there's only like that one little section we were at Sebring where you could stand and really watch. But at NOLA, it's all fenced in. So, in theory, you could have people standing all around um, Coliseum style and just watch the autocross. So that's a little different. I don't know how many places are set up like that, but that's a little different of a setup. Vanessa, you get your M3 yet? What's going on, guys? Comment up. What's going on? How are you guys doing? What's new? M4. She said the M3 is not good enough. I got to get the M4. The M4 competition. What's crazy is you say that, but look at Tyler. Look at the Impala SS. The V6 and the V8 use the exact same transmission. Not all companies do that, but yeah, like for the Impala SS, the V6 and the V8 is the same transmission. And if you some there's a lot of parts that are interchangeable for the fact of like if you look at the 2.4, it's an LS1. Kevin, what's going on, dude? If you look at the 2.4 liter In what in the Impala? Yeah, we did. We used SCT for the Mustang. Um, that was SCT, and then I think we're gonna be looking at HP tuners later on, and then Honda. But yeah, we ran SCT for the 4.6 for the Mustang. Um, yeah, yeah, it is longitudinal. It is mounted. It's so weird how it works, but more or less it's an LS1. It's the 5.3. Um, but yeah, the SCT's pretty. It seems like I haven't really gotten my hands onto the tuning software that much, but from watching the instructor do it, it looks like it is very user friendly. Um, I have heard that HP Tuners is even better, so I look forward to checking that out. But it is really cool to see, this even the small fluctuations in horsepower. Um, like today, we changed some of the fueling, and even though we didn't really get a gain in horsepower, we saw that the horsepower um, didn't just peak and come right back down. We stayed at the max horsepower for a longer duration, and that's really cool to see that you're able to do that through the computer. Yo, what's up, Tyler? You ready to hop on here, dude? I was just talking about um the old 4.6 that we were messing with today over on the dyno. Let's see if I can get Tyler in here. I think yeah, cool. He's got the link. No, you couldn't swap the engine into a 4th gen Camaro because um it is mounted sideways. So, but it does use the same it uses the same transmission as the 6-cylinder Impala, as the V6. I think they did fix the GTO. Mr. Matthews was working on that, and I think we're gonna mess with it later. Yo,
Yo, what up, man?
what's up? What's up? Ooh, is that
God,
better?
look how blown out all the white is, man. I gotta do something with my lighting again.
You probably just get a tan.
No. You see this, dude?
Oh man, what do you mean, dude?
Yeah.
What's up, my ginger?
Yeah. TikTok,
What's
dude.
going on, Tyler?
Not much, man. Not much. Just went and filled the cars up for the hour and a half drive to school and then the hour and a half drive home from school. So
Nice. I got the same, just in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I actually just filled up this morning.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
I had. Let's see. My car was on E since Monday, I think, and
Oh,
then
the Mustang.
and then the Mini. I've had to, this would be the second time this week that I've had to fill it up, but it's got a little tiny tank on it, so it still gets 30 miles to the gallon.
Yeah, Tyler, I don't know. I'm not sure what the nomenclature is for the Impala SS for that year, but I do believe the bolt pattern is different. Let's talk about the Impala SS with the LS1 in it. How it uses
Okay.
the same transmission as the V6,
Yeah.
which is terrifying,
Right.
if you ask me.
Hey man, that just means that you can push a lot more power out of the V6 than you thought.
I mean, you
Well, the
can, yeah.
transmission could
The
handle
transmission will hold.
the
Pistons might, go. Whoo.
power. Who needs
They
them?
might spend more time in space than Katy Perry did, but
That's, they probably already have spent more time in space than Katy Perry did.
yeah, dude. Did Matthew say did he fix the GTO? I think he
Yeah,
said he did.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm pretty
so
sure he said that they've been running it.
I think we're supposed to mess with that when we go over to HP tuner stuff.
Yeah, that
I
and
think
that Camaro.
yeah. Yep, both automatic.
Mm,
Which just makes things a little bit more difficult on the dyno.
yeah, but it makes things a lot easier in a quarter mile.
It does. That is very well, depending on how good of an automatic it is.
True.
Sometimes it's a toss up.
Yeah, I had
Also,
a
what are you running for a whatchamacallit, torque converter?
yeah.
That makes a huge difference.
Dude, I had a buddy. Let's see, it was 2016, I think. Went to some event at OSW, and he had a six-cylinder, like 2002 Mustang automatic, and he'd never run his car on a track before, and he was like, "Dude, like, I want to do this." Blah blah blah. Like, I know I'm not gonna get a good time. I was like, "Dude, screw the time. Get out, put it on the track, and take it down." And he was like, "All right, well, I think when I get on the line, so that I have kind of like a launch control type of situation, I'm going to pop it into neutral and hold it at like 2000 RPMs, and then I'm going to pop it into drive." And I was like, "Don't do that. Do whatever you do. Don't do that." And he did it, and he lost all but second gear for the drive back to St. Cloud from there. So
Ooh,
yeah,
well,
he was pissed. He called me up, told me from the pits, and I was in the stands, and I laughed, and then he hung up on me and he drove home only in second gear. So
ooh,
I was
that's
like, "Dude, I
rough.
told you not to do that, man. You've
Second
got
gear is a hard gear to lose. That's a bad gear to lose
dude." Well,
for
not he
street
didn't lose
driving.
second. He only had second. He didn't have
Oh,
first.
only had second.
Didn't have third, fourth, or fifth. And just like, man, like he's like, "Great, now I have to get a new transmission." I was like, "Chances are it's just hot. You just park your car, shut it off." He's like,
Yeah.
"No, man, I'm going home." Like, whatever, dude. Drive home. Let me know that you're sorry for
How?
being so upset with me tomorrow.
Let me know how long it takes you to get home
Dude, it took him 2.5 hours
from OSW.
to St. Cloud. And
Uh,
that's a 40-minute drive
yeah,
normally. So,
old Bifflo.
yeah.
Ooh,
And then the next day,
that's rough.
he was fine. And I was like, "Dude, I told you, you just got it too hot." And as soon as I hung up, I was like, "God, I'm so glad I don't have to help him drop that transmission."
Yeah, dude. How does it work for drag cars on the
What do you mean?
dyno with automatics? With
So
the
when you
can
have like your high performance drag cars, where you're running like your turbo 400s and stuff, um,
yeah
you
Can
still
control it.
you still have like full control over the gear it's in.
Yeah.
Usually what you'll find is they'll have a like a small compressor and an air shifter in it. So you'll be able to watch that handle slap into each gear.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So like if your compressor goes out, you can still control what gear it goes in.
Okay.
So
That makes sense. And that controls the torque converter.
yeah,
Okay. That makes sense. That's sick, dude.
it's so that's honestly that's the way to go. If you want to be fast with boost, dude, mean coyote build, twin turbo kit, TH400 air shifter, and you'll be
Yeah.
running sevens all day long.
I've noticed so a lot of the dudes in USCA, which we're running road courses,
Mhm.
there's still a lot of them are automatic. But I feel
Yeah.
like for road racing, manual would definitely be better
So
because you can control what gear you're going to be in for each turn.
it depends because the newer 10 speeds are outrageously easy to control.
Okay.
Outrageous, especially with the paddle shifters, and they shift like a DCT. Like they just like no gap in between the gears. There's nothing like as soon as you hit that paddle shifter, dude, it's in the gear you're putting it in. So like I rode with the RTR guys on one of their courses
Yeah.
in an EcoBoost, a 10-speed EcoBoost that they had their like Spec 1 package done to it. And that thing ripped that course up. And it we found the limits of the tires long before I even like remembered that it was an automatic.
Yeah.
So
Let's
the
see.
newer
Tyler
transmissions
says,
are really nice.
would you rather have a supercharged 6.2 aluminum block or an NA 6.6 iron block? So that's tough because I mean, if they are both the same cubic inch, I would go supercharged 6.2 because I think that would give you more tuning ability. Because in NA 6.6, you can control fuel ratio, but that's it.
Yeah.
That's about all you got. I would say supercharged 6.2. I also believe you would probably be able to have higher RPMs in the 6.2 than the 6.6.
Yeah, especially with being aluminum, it'll dissipate that heat a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah, I would go 6.2. Plus, 6.2s are pretty tried and true.
Yeah.
So, and there are an abundance of parts for it. So when you do finally break something, you can replace it.
So the supercharger would absolutely have more parts that could fail, but it's also able like you don't have to so with an NA build, you have it pushed to a specific point and it stays at that point. If you start
Yeah.
like if it starts feeling like it's breaking up in your higher RPMs with the supercharger, you can pulley up and pull some of the boost out and
Yeah.
be good. So it like while there are more moving parts that you have to like maintain or like pay attention to, those moving parts come with perks themselves.
Yeah.
So
I would say personally for me, just the tuning capability would
mhm,
be the key for me on that. Now,
yeah.
I think some people are going to say it's blasphemy and they prefer the 6.6 because some people, want to meet God early. And I understand.
Yeah,
I
yeah, no, I feel
completely understand that. But I personally would rather have more tuning capability.
mhm,
In the supercharger, just adding the supercharger alone is going to give you immensely more just having forced induction in general is going to give you more capability with tuning.
yeah,
um not to say that I think forced induction is always the answer, because man, there's some
right.
NA builds out there that they're impressive,
And that's the
the
thing, dude.
science
Like
that these dudes
NA
do.
feels so like it's like a big turbo car feels way different than a twin turbo, and that feels way different than a Roots supercharger versus a centrifugal. But NA is like a whole different kind of power. It's instant all the time, whereas even with a supercharger, you feel that like you feel the parasitic loss of having to drive the supercharger to make the boost. So NA builds are monsters when
Yeah.
they are paired up right for that build. Whereas with boost, you can adjust that, and there's a lot more maneuverability from one style of driving to the next.
Yeah,
So
and I mean, you could literally have pre-built tunes. So if you want to go that 6.2 supercharged route, you could. So like, let's say for USCA, you know, you have your 5 different styles of driving that you have to do. You could literally have a tune for each different style of driving, and you could before each event, you could literally flash that tune on there.
yeah,
You know, obviously we're talking about you know, there's no budget here. We're just talking about capabilities.
right.
But you could totally have a preset tunes ready to go and flash that tune on there for each style of driving and make yourself insanely competitive.
Yep.
Because obviously, you know, when you're on the road course, you pretty much need every ounce of power you could get, just about. And
Yeah.
then, you know, for the speed stop, it's based more or less it's a drag race. So you're gonna want a tune that's gonna allow you to put rubber to the ground as much as possible.
Hmm.
And then, you know, for autocross, probably about the same as a speed stop, because I feel like with autocross, people are hunting for grip more than they're hunting for power.
Yep.
Because yeah, you can have a low horsepower car in autocross, but if you can hook up and you can get
Yep.
those turns in, because it's tight, you know, horsepower doesn't win autocross.
Yeah. That's why Mini Coopers do so well in it.
Yeah,
Like Mini Coopers, Miatas, like they, if you know how to build, like if you know what you're doing with suspension, you know what you're doing with brakes, and you can tune your low end in,
yeah.
autocross. That I mean, you got it in the bag. So
Dude, you know, I thought all-wheel drive cars would be a lot better with autocross, but what I've noticed, and this is an issue that they see on road courses too, they get a lot of understeer,
yeah.
and autocross really exploits that.
Yep. A big part of that is because the amount of energy it takes to turn all tires
Yeah,
is going to increase the amount of energy it's going to take to stop it all.
that makes
So,
sense. Yeah,
like you're like that's where you get your understeers because they have to really brake so that they can dive into turns. Now,
yeah,
if they were to pick a good like middle line in the
yeah,
turns instead of trying to hug tight with each one, they might be able to benefit from all-wheel drive, but where they're going to make up the most is right after coming out of the turn when most
yeah,
people are accelerating in a linear like accelerating linearly, they
yeah.
will have more of a bell curve to it.
Okay,
But no, so if I was doing autocross, I would try to build like a really nice front wheel drive setup or a
Cobalt
really
SS.
Cobalt SS, um, like I mentioned, Mini Coopers,
Yep.
any of your smaller JDM cars,
Yeah,
not like your big name JDM.
Integra,
Yep.
something like that. Yeah,
Yep.
Integra, Civic. That those would. I'm pretty sure USCA has a few guys that have those, and I'm pretty sure they do decent.
Yeah,
Um, and they actually have like their own class where a lot like the Cobalt SS, the Civics, and the Integras, they're all in that class together, and
yeah,
it's probably a pretty tight class. So
for sure.
I see. So like you go and you look at like Grid Life, and most of those dudes are running like front wheel drive cars on the road course.
Hmm.
But man, they're spicy.
Yeah,
They
dude.
build some
That,
spicy cars for that.
so something that I've noticed, like I mean, you know about it. So me being in drag racing mostly, I grew up in an environment where front wheel drive was garbage because
Yeah,
when you're launching from a dig, all your
dude.
weight shifts to the back and you just blow the tires off of front wheel drive. But when you are diving into a corner and you
Yeah,
have to like
all
fully
your weights.
throttle back in, your weight is still like your front suspension is still loaded. So you've got the perfect like weight ratio for acceleration at that point
Yeah,
because you accelerating is just going to even you back out the way the car was designed to perform.
yeah, and you're being loaded. You have pretty much maximum grip to
Yep.
be able to hit that gas.
Yep.
And then doing FL2K last year, I saw, dude, front wheel drive is getting huge at drag racing. I
Yeah,
mean,
dude.
it's always been there, but it's like I see that the science behind it now has caught up.
Oh yeah. No, so I think what has happened is we have like when we were younger, we were transitioning from the muscle car era to
JDM.
the JDM tuner era, and now
Yep.
we have transitioned into the I can pretty much make whatever I want as fast as I want, as long as my wallet can handle it too.
The
So you're
EG
getting
hatch that has 2 motors to make it all-wheel drive.
yeah, or
Like,
like there's a
there's like
Civic.
15 of them.
Yeah, dude, there's a Civic that runs at OSW. He's got like 1,400 horsepower. Just throws slicks on the front and lets it eat, dude. And this thing is running like high sixes, low sevens. It's
Is
crazy.
is this a spoon engine in it? What has he got?
I
K-swap?
I have no idea. I have no idea. The only time I've ever talked to him, I had to borrow a piece of wire from him so that I could jump my trunk release in the fuse box because my buddy locked my keys in the trunk of my car on my
Oh,
3 valve Mustang, and there was no button to release the trunk inside the car, only on the key fob.
dude, I had a
So
similar issue. I had to take my back seats out and crawl into my trunk.
yeah, so that's the thing. Like every single Mustang that has ever come out, you can access the trunk from inside through the back seats, except for the '05 to '09. You couldn't do
Okay.
it there, and I had an '09. And that also happened to be the only years where they didn't have a trunk release button in the console or like anywhere inside the car.
Good job, Ford.
Right? I was like, come on, guys. This is like basic stuff.
Yeah.
Like you already messed up by only having 3 valves per cylinder. You didn't have to mess up by making someone lock my keys in my trunk too.
Yep.
But hey, it is what it is, I guess. I got it
That's
open.
yesterday's problem, though. You got
Yep.
a 650 now.
Now it locks itself when I walk away too far, and when I walk anywhere near it, whether I've got the key on me or not, it pretty much says hello. So
Yeah. Dude, did you see the RTR that uh they're letting Cletus borrow for the whole
yeah, that
month?
Spec 3, that thing is
Bro.
badass.
The bang for buck. Okay, I love Camaros.
Hmm.
I do. But the amount of those RTR Spec 3s for what they cost and what you get for that cost, that's wild.
Yeah, dude.
You couldn't
So
build that car for that price.
so here's the thing. Um, where the RTR, like the Spec 1, Spec 2, and Spec 3, where they really shine is their ability to stick the car to the ground.
Yeah.
So basically, a Spec 3 is the Spec 2 with the Stage 1 Whipple on it.
Okay.
Now, if you bump that up to a Stage 2 Whipple and then you pulley down a little bit, you can put 1,000 wheel, no problem,
Yeah.
on like everything factory. The only thing that isn't factory, there's a booster pump, there's a bigger throttle, a bigger set of throttle bodies, and it's got GT500 injectors in it, and then the Whipple on top of it. But the the I just said the word. hang on. Stage 1. The Stage 1 Whipple doesn't come with. It comes with bigger than factory throttle bodies, but I think they're
Okay.
98 mils, whereas the
Okay.
Stage 2 is 120 mil. And yeah, dude, 120
That's a
millimeters.
dude,
Yeah,
that's a jump.
yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
like, hey, we're gonna give you 100 mil.
Yeah, no, dude. And
No.
see, here's the thing. Like, what annoys me as a Mustang fan and someone that enjoys modifying Mustangs is the 98s are a big jump from factory. I think the factories are 76s. Don't hold me to that, but I think they're 76s. A
Okay.
76 to a 98, that's a big jump, and that still
That's just
doesn't
as big
max
of a
out.
jump.
Yeah, but it doesn't max out the potential for the manifold.
Yeah, but the 120 still doesn't though.
Exactly. And they fully could have been like, hey, EPA, we did what you wanted with the 2 intakes so that we get cleaner air in, but we're going to push a lot of cleaner air in. Like, come on, Ford. Like, I get what you're doing, but quit it. Do faster. Like, don't necessarily do better, but do faster.
Dude, it's insane to me. I feel like every class that I've taken at this school, some form of knowledge of the EPA has come into play.
Yep.
And it's crazy to being from Florida and knowing, you know, like you could pretty much do whatever you want to your car. There people run without hoods here.
Right.
And nobody cares.
Don't run with a parachute on though, because they will full on just take you to jail.
I have seen that. I
Yeah,
have seen that.
them in Georgia, dude, they do not like parachutes.
Yeah. But like, I've never really thought about it because of I want to say leniency that we have here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't even know. So I didn't know people had to get their cars inspected until I went in the Army and went to different places.
Yep.
Like I had
Same.
been to other states before I was in the Army, but it was usually for like paintball events and stuff like that. So I didn't really pay much attention.
Yep.
But then when I saw like my friends were having to get their cars inspected because now they were registering their cars in, you know, whatever state we were in, and they were having to go get inspected, and I'm like, inspected for what? And they looked at me like I had a third eye, and I'm like, we don't do that here.
Right. Yeah,
We don't. That's not a thing.
That's, dude, when I had my Boss 302 when I was in Cali, I was stationed at 29 Palms, driving that Boss 302 with a Whipple on it, and I had to put a K member on it with adjustable motor mounts, and I had to adjust them down as far as they would go so that I didn't have to get a cowled hood. So, I mean, I was able to push a little bit of extra power out of it just because the weight.
Were you
carried a
registered
little
in
lower.
California?
Nope.
Okay,
I still
yeah.
had Florida plates on
Yeah.
it, and they did not like me at all.
Yeah.
And like
No.
there was a few times where I got I don't care if it's got a Florida plate, it has to get switched over. Don't let me catch you out here again. Like, dude, I got pulled over a lot in California. But I also got a lot of compliments from a lot of cops on my car because of their laws. They don't see cars like what I had when
No,
I
dude,
was
California
spitting
really has
fire out
just
from underneath it.
they were the kings of modified cars. That was where like JDM,
Mm-hmm.
California is where JDM really took off because you could modify them and you could that's where the car culture there was unmatched. It really
Yep.
was. And I'm seeing now that Florida, we are basically taking it over because
So
we
Florida
can do
and
it.
Texas, dude.
Yeah, Texas is gnarly too.
Like I
But
know
Texas
there's
you still have to get inspected in Texas.
Yep. Florida,
So
you can legitimately have fender dumps, and as long as you're not specifically pissing anybody off, no one says anything.
yeah.
It's insane.
The only thing they don't like is car meets. Just
Yeah.
car meets in Florida are tough.
Nope, they don't
There's
like
so
me.
much there's so many worse things people could be doing than car meets. It's like, come on, guys. Just
Yep.
let the like these kids could be doing legitimately illegal things. Like, let them have their
right?
parking lot for a
And
night.
that's the thing,
Like,
like, it's always like a Kmart parking lot at 10 p.m. after they close or some craziness, and
yeah,
you'll see like 6 or 7 cops roll up and like drive through, and they just start like taking notes of what cars they're gonna ticket when they leave. And you're like, guys, like that's a 16-year-old kid just trying to relax.
yeah.
Like they're bringing lawn chairs out like they're old dudes at a classic car meetup.
Like they're driving Corvettes.
Yeah, like leave these kids alone, man. They're not hurting anybody.
My goal here, this is what's gonna happen. One day I'm gonna buy a Corvette
Mm.
and I'm gonna go to all the high school car meets. And
As an old guy,
I'm gonna wear jorts, New
hell yeah,
Balances, and a tucked in polo and
hell
bring out
yeah.
a chair and be like, I don't think you belong here, man. I'm the chaperone, guys.
You you whippersnappers.
You young whippersnappers.
Dude, I always love seeing the guys with like rat rods and stuff at the JDM meets. And they
Dude.
get into like the rev battles with them, and they're just spitting 6-foot flames out of their like zoomy
But though
pipes.
I will say though, a lot of those JDM kids do end up like they're like, yo, that's cool.
Oh yeah.
There's usually not any hate towards that.
Nope. That's the thing. Like, dude, so one thing that I have noticed for sure, and I have been guilty of it in the past, but almost all the hate between muscle cars and JDM
Comes
is
from muscle cars.
coming from muscle cars.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating now, especially like the new Mustangs, dude. They're muscle cars with exotic car heritage almost.
Yeah.
Like they're not built like steel frame
Well, that's
solid.
because like most of Mustang's heritage comes from like road racing.
Yep. And
So which
even
is battling against
Corvette,
exotics.
yeah, like Corvettes, Mustangs, even the Camaro was starting to go that direction too. They're starting to like, okay, like we're gonna really allow the suspension to move around. It's not
Yeah.
gonna be like so like I look at my car and I'm like, no man, like that's not a whole lot different than that dude's car. His engine just faces a different direction, which hey man, to each his own. The way I
Yeah.
drive, I like rear wheel drive, but the way he drives, he likes front wheel.
Yeah.
I don't need McDonald's trays to drift. He doesn't need to rip an e-brake to be able to go through a turn. So
The thing that sucks though about the JDM scene is the price of the cars.
yeah, dude, like
You can
that's
get into a muscle car so
frustrating.
much cheaper. You can get
So
a classic collector muscle car for the
yeah,
price. If you want an R32, you're paying
yeah,
like the same amount of money as you would to go buy a kit car
yep,
Shelby. You know,
yep.
it's
Now,
like
see, one thing I will say is the newer muscle cars, they price those like 90s exotic cars. Like
yeah,
my car, the sticker was like 58.9 or some craziness when I ordered my car. And talk about making you nauseous.
but you
when
can
you
go get a fifth gen Camaro for like between 10 to 15 grand.
And that's where Camaros shine, is the
Yeah.
fact that they are as cheap as they are and as capable as they are for the price range.
Yeah, and then I
So
think even Mustangs you can get around the same prices
yeah, if you
depending on what
so
you get.
I was looking at this because I've been trying to figure out which Mustang I want to build one of the street cars out of. And you can get like a 2013, 2014 for like 12 grand, and it'll
Yeah.
have like a few things done to it and just be super clean. Or you can get like a clapped out V6 2013 for like 3 grand.
Yep.
And it doesn't have to stay clapped out, and it definitely doesn't have to stay a V6. So like you can definitely get into these cars cheap, but they really like seeing them sit on the lot new. So they price them so that people don't take them home.
Yeah. That's wild, man. But the JDM scene, like these cars, the problem is that I think there is that when a JDM car becomes cool, the drift scene grabs it.
Yeah.
And then the drift scene ruins them, and then there becomes very few of them, so they become very expensive. And they're doing it with the C6 Corvette right now.
Are
I
they?
see that,
Is that getting big in
dude.
the drift scene now?
Dude, that's like the car to get for people starting out drifting because it's got so much horsepower. You don't have to momentum drift. You could literally just power through everything.
Yeah.
So all
That's
these dudes
a
are wanting to
terrible
pick
way
them
to
up.
learn how to drift, though.
It is the worst way. The worst way, because then as soon as you get out of that C6, then you're like, oh, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah, like you're gonna start throwing your tail lights into the wall and nah, like
Yeah.
but I
It's
mean
so
if
it's,
it works when they start, then that's gonna be what gets them hooked on the whole drifting their car
yeah,
thing. So,
which is cool. But like I know like the C5 because they're breaking into the C5s now too.
mm,
C5s, to be real, like for what they are, they were relatively cheap to buy used.
yeah,
And if you're buying one that's not in perfect condition, you could get one pretty cheap. And even still, you can get them decently cheap. But the drift scene really is like they're starting to eat into them, and you're starting to see like, oh man, these prices are going up because all these
yeah,
kids want them now. And it's like, man, so much for owning a Camaro one day.
right. Nope,
You
that's
know,
so that's the thing. Like drift is like
sorry.
drift gained a lot of momentum quickly because of Fast and Furious,
Yeah, yeah.
but TikTok is doing that same thing with drag racing right now.
I've noticed that most of the car stuff on TikTok is drag racing.
A lot of it is because people want like they settle scores with each other with draggy printouts.
Okay.
So they want quarter mile times, 60 to 130 times. They
Yeah.
want dyno sheets because nobody wants to meet up and race because meeting up is expensive to do.
It is expensive to do.
But
Um, I'm
drifting,
surprised that on TikTok it's not more drifting
so
because of the
there is a part of TikTok that is just
yeah,
saturated with drifting.
I which I have seen,
Mhm,
but I do still think that there's more drag racing. Just and it may just be my For You page,
mhm.
but I definitely thought there would be. I mean, I didn't even think it would be close because of the age group
Yeah,
and our generation and the next generation are generally into like drifting and stuff like that.
mhm.
So I definitely thought there would be a lot more.
I think a lot of it is there is a lot less skill needed to make big horsepower numbers than there is needed to be able to control a car in the middle of it being at the highest level of uncontrolled
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
entire time you're driving it. Not that drag racing doesn't take skill because it 100% takes a lot more skill than what
Yeah.
people are given credit for, but drifting is nothing but skill. Like it's
Right.
skill in knowing how to build the car. It's skill in being able because a lot of drifting stuff is custom fabbed, whereas drag
Well,
racing,
it's all grassroots. Like
yeah,
even at the highest level, pro Formula drift drivers, unless you're driving for RTR, odds are you built your car.
yep,
You know that
yep.
it is very grassroots.
T
What's
Pain
that?
has T Pain builds all of his cars in
Oh
a
yeah,
shop on
dude.
his property.
Yeah, and that dude's
Granted, it's
all over grid life.
T-Pain, like
Yeah,
he is loaded, but he does still do his own stuff. Like he's got a team of guys that
yeah,
do it with him. But that'd be no different than me coming over to your house and helping you with stuff. You know what I mean?
for sure. Yeah,
So,
I know he works with Hurt a lot.
mhm,
Um, which that dude is sick. That
yeah.
dude does some wild stuff. So
I know
that's pretty cool to see.
T Pain got the CEO of Ford into drifting. They
Not Von Gittin Jr.
so Von Gittin Jr. I want to say he had a hand in getting T Pain into
I mean, he
drifting
had to have, yeah. Oh,
because
yeah, yeah, yeah.
one of T Pain's cars is I want to say it is an RTR built S550. It's just not RTR branded.
Okay.
But
He
that's
probably
because
already
he
had the
hasn't tried
car.
for. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But I know he also is big into rotary stuff.
Oh
So
yeah,
he's
he is.
absolutely massive.
Yeah, I mean he hangs out with Hurt, so which Hurt is all about rotary.
Yep.
So so Willow Springs
Hmm.
was sold. I know. So I know. Was her name Olivia Hartford
Hmm.
is one of the buyers. What's his name? Han from Frick. What's his name from Tokyo Drift?
Oh,
Han.
what is the dude's name?
I can't think of his name. I believe he is one of the investors, and I believe Hurt is one of the buyers as well.
Okay.
Um, I don't know what's going on with that because it's been over a year since I heard about that, and I haven't heard anything more of
Yeah.
Willow Springs because it was shutting down, and then they bought it, or they were attempting to buy it,
Hmm.
something. And man, that place is sick. I hope it stays alive.
Yeah, dude.
And the amount of history in that place. I mean, that
I
was
want to
the
say
testing
like a
grounds.
year ago, the drag strip down in Sebring that I guess it's been closed down for a long time,
Oh
and
no,
like,
you're talking about that's Palm Beach.
is it Palm Beach?
Yeah, that's Palm Beach. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's been closed down for a long time. It went up for sale, and I was like, "Oh man!" And right as that happened, I started seeing stuff about what's that place that just opened up like in between me and you? It's all
Motor
concrete,
Oh, Leadfoot City.
Leadfoot City. Like I
Yeah.
saw them starting, and I was like, "Oh man!" Like I hope something like that gets a hold of that track because like it would be so cool to bring
Dude,
that
that's what
back.
I'm saying about Florida. Dude, we have I mean, within 2 hours drive from me, I have Sebring. I
Yep.
have Circuit Florida, Motor Enclave, OSW. It used to be called DeSoto Speed or Freedom Factory.
Yep.
Um, that's 5 tracks alone right there. Leadfoot
Yeah.
City. Uh, like
Yeah.
that's
And you've got like
6 off the top of my head.
dude, and then you've got like your little dirt tracks that are everywhere that
Yeah,
you
well,
can.
our dirt track here is shut down. East Bay Raceway. It
Yeah,
just shut down last year, the year before.
there is. So driving through when I had to take my dad up to Jacksonville every day, we would drive through the Ocala National Forest all the time.
Yeah,
And there's a
Bubba's track was up there.
so that might be what I'm thinking of. I can't remember what it was called, but there was a dirt track like kind of just in the
Yeah,
middle of the forest.
yeah, but so yeah, Bubba the Love Sponge. He had a track. I can't think of the name of it, but he had
Mhm.
a track up there. And they competed with the East Bay for
Yeah.
drivers. Um, from what I think it's closed now. From what I understand, a lot of people didn't like it because it was an asphalt track, and then they put dirt on top of the asphalt, and then the asphalt started coming up through the dirt,
Hmm. That would piss
and
me off too
that's
if I was
that's
there for dirt
yeah,
racing.
that's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, the tires are different, so like that
Hmm.
asphalt's gonna if you start hitting patches of asphalt, I mean, it's gonna eat your tires.
Hmm.
And then East Bay was a cool track, man. It was a good size. They had everything from World of Outlaws out there to they had the ASA Winter Nationals there every year.
Hmm.
Um, and it was right there. It was in Gibsonton,
Okay.
right outside of Tampa. And I worked on the fire crew there for a good amount of time with my
Hmm.
dad, and that was a blast.
I bet.
That was so much fun. I was a teenager, so I'm like, yeah, I want to ride around. I'm standing on the back of the fire truck. It wasn't even a legit fire truck. It was
Hmm.
a it was a F-350 with the toolbox bed on it.
Yep.
And then we built a platform on the back of it, and me and my dad would stand on this platform holding onto this handle and then just all over the track, you know. Just going
Hell
just
yeah.
stupid, man. And that was, dude, I was like 15, 16 doing that.
Mm.
And I had no business doing that. But
Yeah.
no business doing that.
That's the
But it was,
best kind of job, though.
oh, dude, that was so much fun. That was, yeah. Putting out fires. My dad's like all excited the first time I put out a fire. He's like running around the car, here, spray here, spray here, spray here. Freaking fire extinguishers like the same size as me.
Yep. You have to like hobble because of the weight of it.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay, come on. Oh yeah, that was fun. That was fun, dude. I got to learn how to like use like jaws of life there and spreaders. Not even for emergency purposes. We had a demolition derby there, and there was we had an RV parked out on track for somebody to hit a jump and crash through it. And we had to like cut out like a lot of the framing because, you know, if you crash into it with all the framing, it's
Yeah.
not gonna you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah.
You know,
You're gonna have a
so
bad time.
yeah, exactly. So I got to learn how to use the cutters on that, and that was fun.
Hell yeah.
That was cool. But yeah, it's sad that place is closed. Oh man, yeah, it sucks when a track closes, dude.
Yeah, dude. That's why,
But
like, even if I don't run my car, I try to go to these bigger events because it's the big events coming to the tracks that help keep them open.
keep it alive. I mean, what FL2K last year at Bradenton Motorsports had 1.1 million people.
That's insane.
Spectators. That's just
insane.
spectators. That's not including the amount of cars the amount of cars that were there. You went to FL, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah, dude. I mean, me and my buddy James went and we walked all the pits.
Yeah.
And the pits were so full that they were parked in the parking lot for the oval track.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude, why didn't I go to drag racing growing up? This is sick.
Dude, and that's the coolest. So the thing that I really like about drag racing is it is a spectacle.
It's so spectator friendly because it's right there.
Yep.
Like there is no part you can't see.
Exactly. That and like it's so just like TikTok does better than YouTube.
Yeah.
Because it's not longer stuff, it's shorter form.
Yep.
Drag racing is the short form content version of racing.
Yeah.
So like you can see, like you're not going to watch the driver you're there to watch the whole day.
No.
But you're going to get like easily manageable clips of him here and there, and then you get some stuff sprinkled in between, and then you can go get some nachos and a beer and come back to the stands
and they're still
you
going.
can watch it all again.
Yep.
So drag racing is really cool like that. Now, then you have your like small town oval tracks, your small town dirt tracks, and all
which is what I grew up at.
Yep, and that's definitely like that is a very like small town-esque thing. Whereas drag racing is the few small towns around all get together at a place to do.
Yeah, because there's I don't think there's as many drag strips as there are oval tracks.
No,
at least in the South.
Yeah, no, there is definitely a lot more oval tracks, but the drag strips, because those are the ones that like social media and everything pays the most attention to, they're the ones that get the largest amount of visitors.
Yeah.
So
especially when we have a place like Bradenton Motorsports that's so close, and it's such a great facility.
Yep.
And then, you know, OSW, I haven't really spent any time at the drag strip at OSW. But from what I've seen from videos, it's a pretty nice place too.
They've recently done a lot, like they've got covered seating now, which is
sick.
Awesome. Like that's not something that you see at drag strips ever. Yeah. So they've got that. they used to be. So the way that me and my girlfriend used to think of it is OSW was like the hood. You would go there for like grudge
It's
racing
Bithlow.
and exciting shit. Exactly. And then Bradenton is your like suburbs, and then Gainesville is your high rises and stuff like that. Because
Ooh.
Gainesville, exactly, dude. There's so much money in Gainesville.
Yeah.
So much
Yeah,
money. But
that place is nice.
it is, dude. I love going to the Gainesville track. It's
Which
like
with
just
what's going on right now down at Bradenton Motorsports,
mhm.
it's probably going to be pretty close to on par with Gainesville pretty soon.
Hopefully, I would,
Because
dude. I
they're
would love to have nothing but Gainesville tracks all over the place. Like that would be
yeah,
sweet.
because they're dumping a lot of money into Bradenton Motorsports right now. Jackson, dude, I'm glad we can make your night, bud. That's what I'm
Hell
talking
yeah,
about. What's up, my ginger?
man. That is the whole reason that I made sure I was awake right now,
Yeah,
so that Jackson could see us talk about Gainesville Raceway.
that's it, dude. That's it. Podcast over, guys. Good night.
Yeah. Deuces.
um, yeah, dude, that it's cool. Because then, like back when it was DeSoto Speedway, that was a great facility. And then to the bank it goes. That was a great facility, and that was probably the nicest track we had around
Yeah.
in this area of Florida, because we had, back then we had Sunshine, Auburndale, and those were Bithlow, basically.
Yeah. Yep.
Some of them still kind of are. But DeSoto was like the premier place, like the pro drivers still came out there to race in the bigger
Yeah.
races and stuff like that. And then it was once when it sat abandoned for however long it was, you saw like everything just kind of degraded. And then when Cletus bought it, dude, he got a lot of hate for what he was doing locally, local hate, because people were used to DeSoto Speedway.
Mhm.
And like even some of my family members were like, oh, I don't know, because I mean my family literally ran that place.
Yeah.
So they were kind of like, oh, I don't know. But then saw it. When I saw it in person, when I went down there the first time, I was like, yo, this guy put in work.
Yeah, dude.
I'm like, that is definitely like, that is probably the nicest stock car track in Florida right now.
Yeah. And that's the
So
thing, man. Like he knew that it was going to be social media that funded that like
yeah,
refurbishment. So then
yeah.
he like that's definitely going to be a different kind of use than what a lot of the people that saw how it used to be.
Which he
used
still
to.
does stock car racing out there. He has
Right.
the UARA come out there, the Sportsman Series. They bring their late models and some of their other classes out there with them, which is awesome. I do wish he ran stock cars a little more often,
Yeah.
just because like that is just what that place is. And because what we have for stock car racing around here right now isn't much.
Right.
And it's Auburndale, I'm glad that they do well, but it's such a small track. And I think is it I don't even know if it's even a quarter mile
Yeah.
for stock car racing.
That's
That's tiny, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have I don't think they do any form of stock car racing at OSW at all, which supposedly OSW and DeSoto Speedway were built on the same plans. That's
So
what I've
I
heard in
know
rumor mill. I don't know how true that is.
they have an oval track. I've never been to their oval track.
They do drifting, and that's it there now.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah, that they just do because they have the oval track and then the skid pad that everybody drifts on. That's in the pits. That
Gotcha.
was pit area for people to pit at.
Okay.
But the oval track's pretty much just used for drifting now. That's where that oval track is where they do Formula Drift Orlando.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
which is coming up actually at the end of this month.
Is it this month?
Yeah. But they don't do any stock car racing there. And I mean, to be honest, like the pits are so small at
Mhm.
OSW. They are tiny. I don't know how they are for the drag strip, but for the oval track, it is almost non-existent.
So you get, I want to say the pits they go all the way down to like the 1,000-foot mark. So they're
Okay.
not massive,
No, but it's
but
decent size
yeah,
for the
definitely
car
like
count that they get.
exactly.
Yeah.
So you get
And
that, and
then
there's like 6 rows of
yeah.
like parking areas for the pits. So I mean,
Okay.
you
Yeah,
can fit a
that
good
is
amount
they
of
could
people
fit. Yeah, for sure. And then but if you go to if you go to Freedom Factory,
there.
have you ever been there?
I have not. No.
Dude, okay, we gotta go.
Hell yeah,
W-
I'm down.
We gotta go, dude. Um, the pits are there's so many.
Yeah.
Right? There's just so they have the main pit area, which has like um concrete pit stalls
Okay.
in it, right? And they have like a pretty decent amount of those that wrap around the track on
hmm
the around the back stretch. And then you have what we used to always call Section 8, which is way back. That's where if you watch some of Cletus's older videos when he first got the track, he
hmm
put all that dirt back there for he was going to build a UTV track.
Okay.
That was all pit area back in the day too.
Gotcha.
And dude, I mean they back then it was all full.
Yeah.
It was when I was a kid, you could walk through all those pits and they were cars in everywhere. Like just
Yeah.
there was a sea of cars because that track was that track was awesome.
Hell
They
yeah.
used to call it was the fastest short track in the South is what they used to call it. I was
Hell
like,
yeah.
and it's a fast track. I mean, I think late models do a lap around that track in 11 seconds.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying. And I don't even know how much horsepower those late models were pushing back in the day. But
hmm
yeah, that's why. So Cletus did a race, a late model race, and he got a seat for a late model and ran it at his track. And he was like, I haven't experienced this before. This is he's like, no, I could go around in circles on any cars that I have, and he's like, they don't compare to that.
Yeah.
And like, it's a different monster.
Yep.
Especially when you have 20 other cars on the track with you,
That
you
part.
know?
That's the
Yeah.
part. You get a bunch of NA monsters out there set up for that. Just
Carbureted.
yeah, dude, just ripping it. Like it is definitely an experience.
2025, still running carbureted.
Insane.
Still. Yeah. But they're all insanely high revving engines.
Yep.
I mean, I think they're revving out at like somewhere between 8 to 9,000 RPMs. Yeah.
Damn.
It's stupid, dude.
That
These are
is
not drag cars.
yeah. No.
No, these cars turn and they're
Right?
doing that,
There's a lot
you know?
higher red line than that
Yeah.
two valve sitting on the dyno at UTI.
Yeah, I know. He was making fun of me because I was like, 5,800, I'm sad. And he was like, why? And I was like, that's
Yeah, he was
that's a
like,
low number,
"How high do
dude.
you want it to rev?" I was like, "I don't know, high enough to make power."
Yeah,
Come on now,
to not make 210 horsepower
right,
in a V8.
dude? I was like, stop! Don't put the two valve on there. You've got an EcoBoost out there that'll fucking like you're talking mid threes, maybe like do
Yeah.
something."
Jason, what's good, dude? Brother, I'm working on your stickers. I'm gonna get them out to you. I'm putting together a whole sticker pack for you, dude. I'm getting you loaded up.
Hell yeah,
Yeah. Gonna get
your
them all
stickers
loaded
are
up.
sweet.
Dude, I gotta make a TikTok sticker now too for me. Because I got the YouTube sticker. I gotta get a TikTok sticker.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Gotta advertise that social media. Get
That's
that
what I'm
internet
saying,
money.
bro. I need that internet money, dude. We all need a little internet money.
Yeah, that ain't no lie. I keep trying to
But
figure
yeah.
out like what I'm gonna post on mine once I start posting again. And every time I'm like, oh, maybe I can post this, and I realize that in my first 10 videos I covered that already. I'm like, well, shit. Like,
Dude, just send it.
yeah, it's
If somebody calls you out for it, guess what? They commented.
yep. I'll just ask them to
Drove
say it
down
in
to Bike
Spanish.
Week Myrtle on the bike, and on the way back, got a ticket. I would expect nothing less from you, Jason.
Hell yeah.
How was Myrtle? Dude, good old Murder Beach.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I went down there, dude. I went down there for Memorial Day weekend, right when I got back from Afghanistan. And I think I felt safer in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Like
That is not surprising.
so I go there for Memorial Day weekend. I go back to Fort Bragg, and like everybody knew that me and a bunch of buddies, we went down there, and then we get back and they're like, dude, did you hear? Like 6 people got shot while you were there. And I was like, no,
I didn't do it. Why?
I didn't hear anything. Like, what do you mean? 79 and a 55. Bro, what? Dude, that's the problem. Dude, Carolinas is like highway speed 55. And I'm like, bro, that's like my neighborhood speed.
Legitimately, it is my neighborhood speed.
Like, oh man. Dude, they got you good there. 79 and a 55. It's still not 187 though.
No, it's not. But much more manageable ticket than the one I
Yeah,
got.
definitely
So.
manageable. Yeah. Total, it's always BS, dog. They were
That's how I
waiting
felt
for you.
about my ticket.
It's because you were on a bike. Like, I mean, real, dude, cops love bikes, man. They don't care. Dude, you could be completely
Hell yeah.
100% following every road law there is. Dude, cops will find something on bikes. They will find a reason to pull you. Dude, they don't like bikes, especially here in Florida, especially Orlando. But that's because people in Orlando run on bikes.
Yeah, dude.
They all run. So they're like, they see a bike and they're woo.
And the crazy thing is like FHP fully like it's not a they didn't get rid of their no chase rules. They just got kill orders. Like they will pit motorcycles. It's insane. I'm like, that's
Order
murder.
66.
That is insane. Like it's crazy down here. But so
Dude,
it's
they got
wild.
FHP has bikes now though, like
Yeah, dude,
legit
they've
bikes.
got that 1000 RR. Like, come on, man.
Dude, I think I saw a post somewhere that they got an H2 now. What?
Yeah.
What
But
cop gets the opportunity to drive that H2?
Right? It's like the most well-behaved motorcycle cop that month gets to patrol
Dude,
on that for a day.
It's some old cop. Dude's like basically a year away from retirement, and he's like
open face helmet.
He's got the goofy little microphone that's like super big, covers half your mouth.
The aviators on.
Yes.
Doing like a $1.90 on it, just squinting.
Looking like the cop from Mad Max.
They are actually. They are sponsoring me. So what they did was they said, we will allow you to continue showing up in that clapped out sounding Mustang as long as you as you wear that shirt on
they
the
said
internet.
As long as you continue to pay us, you can wear our shirt on Blake's podcast.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that was the exact conversation that I had with the EMs. All of them. They all just lined up and said the same thing to me each day. Hell yeah.
There we go. They should sponsor this podcast.
They should. Dude, what are we? I'm talking to Breen tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Hey. 2 things. 1, if a company makes an ad for you, I should be able to wear their shirts. And 2, you guys should sponsor this podcast.
Yes. Let's go, dude.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of y'all, all right, I'm not going to put all the information out there yet. But homie Tyler here is looking at possibly starting a business.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to leave it at that. Dude needs investors. If anybody
Hey,
is
man.
interested, definitely contact him and see what you can get going. It's pretty cool. He sent me the business plan. It's fire.
Dude, it's pretty lined out, right?
It's lined out great.
So
Dude,
that's
I didn't know you were so business savvy.
dude, that is the autism, man. All I do in my free time is I just make businesses. Like that's all I do. Dude, I've got businesses for bamboo farming. I've got businesses for like gun stores. I've like all kinds of stuff. Sell more feed
Sell more
pigs.
feed pigs.
So that's the problem is I listed about 50 of them and not a single one has sold yet. And they're 25 cents. That's all I want for one.
If I posted mine up, people would be like, "Oh,
Yeah,
use infantry.
I'll give you more dollars if you take it off.
I'll pay you to expand your page."
Yeah, right.
Oh no!
But
All
no,
right,
I
guys, we are an
think
hour 16 into this. I'm gonna go ahead and probably end this.
new record.
I am going to head over to TikTok and stream some sim racing. You guys
Hell yeah.
should come over there, hang out, bull crap with me. Let's go. I'll give you a schmeckle. Give you a little slap and tickle.
Yeah.
A little slap and pickle. Oh my. But yeah, you guys come hang out. Dude, let's get those like counts up and come check it out, dude. Tyler here is my #1 fan over on TikTok.
Dude.
Kevin, if you're still on here, you got some stiff competition, dog.
Hey,
Hit up Jason,
man.
dog.
You get that,
Hit up
that
Jason.
trigger walk for the business stuff?
Yeah, hit up Jason.
Hell yeah.
Jason will love it. I know he will. That's right up
Yeah.
his alley.
Oh,
Kevin,
man.
come over to TikTok, dude. All right, guys, you have a great night. Hit up the store, get yourself a hat, t-shirt, beanie. I got, some merch out there. Hit it up. I'm trying to I got to get some camera equipment. I want to give you guys some more stuff. And I need to get the equipment to do it. So help me out, guys. You guys have a great night. Like, follow, subscribe. Do the thing.
Yeah. Do all the things.
Do all the things.
All of the things. You got to share on TikTok, share, save, comment some words.
To words. Yeah.
Any
Yeah.
of the words.
All
any
of
of
them.
them. Any of them that won't get the comment flagged.
Even if he gets a comment flagged, I don't care. I don't care.
I'll approve it.
I'll approve it. Yes. All right. Have a good night, guys.
See ya.